The third commercial, it's still on, please. Take off the third channel, it's still running. Stop it, please, for God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time. You've got to, please, stop it now, turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
And we're rolling. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Gore Goblins. I'm Skleezy Wiener, and this over here is
I like Scraps, so I'm sticking with that.
that's Scraps. Scraps is back by popular demand. Anyway, today we're gonna talk about Halloween 3: Season of the Witch,
Which I hate. No, I don't really hate it. It was. I did enjoy it more than I thought I would, but I still don't like it that much.
It's just weird that it's a Halloween movie, I think, is like my biggest issue with it. Well, I got other issues with it, but I'll talk about those later. First, some backstory on Halloween 3. Halloween 3 came out in 1982 because Halloween 2 was super successful at the box office. So naturally, the producer, Mustafa Akkad, was like, hey, we want a sequel. And John Carpenter was like, I already killed Michael. What more do you want from me? And he's like, I don't want to fucking do this again. I'm not producing another Halloween or doing any... I don't want to be involved with Halloween at all if it's going to involve Michael. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, then we'll just do whatever, right? So then not Michael. So then John Carpenter, I guess, gets Tommy Lee Wallace to write and direct this sequel that has absolutely nothing to do with Haddonfield. It has nothing to do with Michael. It has nothing to do with any of that. No cast return. Well, there's like one actor. Is it just Annie Brackett that shows up?
That's all I noticed.
Yeah, Annie Brackett was the only one.
It's not her real name.
But that's not. Yeah, it's you know, it's not. She's an actress. It's fine. But
She's a snacktress.
But then, so then this comes out in 1981. It ends or 1982, and it ends up being like a giant fucking like critical and commercial failure. So much to the point that Michael Myers came back in Halloween 4, even though my man burned to death at the end of Halloween 2. But that's besides the point. We'll talk about Halloween 4 when we get to Halloween 4. Now we're going to talk about Halloween 3 and how fucking weird this movie is. At this point, John Carpenter kind of wanted to make Halloween an anthology series where each movie was just a different story based around the holiday, I guess. Because that's kind of the vibe you get from it. But it's an experiment that failed. But I still like it. I think it's fine overall. So let's go over the cast list first.
I know absolutely nobody.
I know Tom Atkins, who plays Dr. Daniel Chalice. What a name. What a fucking name. He plays Daniel Chalice, and Tom Atkins is in another John Carpenter movie, The Fog, which is one I want to cover at some point.
The Frog.
Because The Fog is good. But then if we talk about The Fog, I think we'd have to talk about the remake, and I don't know if I want to talk about the remake.
Yeah, the remake is great.
Don't do this to me.
But it's good.
Don't do this to me. Okay? Tom Atkins is Daniel Chalice. He was in The Fog. And what's funny is in this movie, his ex-wife is played by Nancy Keys, who was Annie Brackett in Halloween.
Her career took a downslope. And
it's yeah, exactly. But she plays Linda, his ex-wife. And it's funny because in The Fog, Tom Atkins hooks up with Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie. So, he's just getting around the cast, basically, is what it seems like.
He was getting around in this movie,
He was,
too.
Yeah, he was. He had like 3 different girls that were just lusting after him. But we'll get to that later because I got some issues with that. But then we have Stacey Nelkin playing Ellie Grimbridge, which is the daughter of a guy that just fucking dies at the beginning of the movie.
I like that last name.
It is a good last name, Grimbridge. I might use that later in like as a goblin intro. Who knows? But she's his daughter, and she ends up being the love interest, which is kind of dumb.
The love interest, my ass, just a fucking thing to touch.
Yeah,
Just because.
Honestly, yeah, I feel like we'll get to that. let me finish this section first, and then we got Conal Cochran, which the first name Conal is weird.
Conal.
Connell.
Connell.
It's Connell.
I
Okay,
was
but
about
it's
to say, you're
spelled like
saying it
Conal.
wrong.
But it's spelled like Conal, and I hate it. So that's played by Dan O'Leary. Is that what we said it was? That's what you said it was. Dan O'Leary. I'm gonna assume that's his name. Some Irish dude probably, and he plays.
Didn't have an Irish accent. 0-star movie.
What did you say? Connell.
Connell.
I keep wanting to fucking say Connell. He
Colonel.
plays Connell Cochran, who is basically a Jeff Bezos type, a fucking Bill Gates type. He's just this business tycoon that owns this super successful novelty company called Silver Shamrock, which has the most annoying jingle I've ever heard in my life.
Something days till Halloween.
It's just London Bridge is coming down, but it's, I don't know.
I guess you could say that's kind of fitting.
Who's
If they were trying to do something with that song.
I'm trying
but
to figure out who this guy is.
don't talk over me. No, I'm just kidding.
Who the fuck was Rafferty? Do you remember who Rafferty was?
Rafferty.
I don't remember a Rafferty. Was that the dude that died at the beginning? No, it can't be. Anyway, those are like the main characters, right? And then I already mentioned Nancy Keys, Linda Chalice. We also have this fucking sitcom family, the Kupfers.
Kupfers?
Or is it Kupfers? Maybe it's Kupfer. I don't know. I'm not from the 50s, but they're basically a fucking 50s sitcom family. We got Ralph Straight playing Buddy, Jadine Barbour playing Betty, and then Brad Schachter playing Little Buddy, and he's a little shit. I
Buddy,
fucking hate
Betty,
I fucking
and
hate
Buddy
Little Buddy
Jr.
and Little Buddy. I hate him. I don't like him.
You think that's actually on his birth certificate?
Little Buddy? Yeah. When they gave birth to him, it was just Little Buddy. In the fucking.
You didn't even mean to say it. He just said it in general.
Oh, Little Buddy, I'm so glad you're mine finally. And then it's just that's his name forever. And he's a little shit because he rides a bike and his mom's like, "Hey, don't ride your bike on the street," and then he flips his mom off. Like that little Boston kid from Gone Baby Gone. I know you haven't seen that movie, but
Let's see, what the fuck is that?
it reminded me of that. There's this part where like Casey Affleck's driving, and he like almost runs into this kid, and then
Wait, isn't he dead?
no, Gilbert Gottfried is, but not Casey Affleck.
That's what I meant.
So he almost runs into this kid, and he's like, "Hey, watch where you're going, kid." And then the kid's like, "Go fuck your mother." And it reminded me of that. But I can't remember the name. Oh, Al Berry plays Harry Grimbridge. That's the dude that dies at the beginning.
They're gonna kill us all.
Because he's just like they're coming. It's coming. They're gonna kill us all. And he's basically like what kicks everything off. And Wendy Westberg plays Teddy, who is the medical examiner. And she's not really a medical examiner.
Coroner.
She's a coroner. Yeah, she's like a coroner at this hospital that Chatlis works at, because he's a doctor there, and she like loves him, I guess. Or
This
she
dude's trying to fuck everybody in that hospital.
Yeah, my man's got a like he flirts with this other nurse who's like an older black lady, and he's like, "Oh, I should have married you," and then he like slaps her ass, and then she's like, and then she slaps his ass, and then that's what she does. That's what she does. I'm sorry, but like she just goes, and then she slaps his ass, and then that's what happens. That's what happens in that scene, and I'm just like, all right, well, that was something. His character, Tom Atkins' character in both this and The Fog are very like, I don't know. They're just kind of weird because it just feels like he's irresistible to women in both of these fucking movies. But especially in this one. So we'll talk about that as we get into the plot, which is next.
The snot.
So I'll have Justin go over the plot as best to his recollection, and I'll hop in every now and again, probably.
Well, like you said, it started with what's his name? What was his name? I already forgot.
Like Harry Grimbridge.
Harry
Grimbridge, yeah.
He's just running. And he's getting chased by the slowest car in history until later in the movie.
Yeah.
But he's just all panicked coming from somewhere we don't know yet. And runs into a mechanic shop, and then he's like, "Oh, crazy dude, you're going to hospital."
Oh yeah, and I also have to stress that this this fucking mechanic shop, it's like a full serve like gas station, and spray painted like on the wall it says like need gas, eat beans, which I think is just the silliest thing in the world, and that is my new mantra in life. But yeah, he collapses, and then this mechanic at the shop takes him to the hospital, and what happens from there?
We meet this fucking porn stash looking doctor. Like, really, I hated his face. Like, I just wanted to hit him.
He does have a porn stash, like a full on like porn stash. It's pretty ridiculous, I gotta say.
Yeah, did the pacing in the movie seem kind of weird to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
It was kind of just going.
Yeah, it kind of like once the movie started, it kind of just there was like no like real breaks there except for the romantic subplot, which was dumb.
Which was unnecessary.
Yeah, but yeah. So Harry's at the hospital.
The dude just clutching the mask like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah,
Well, there isn't.
yeah, because there isn't exactly.
But yeah. They don't know what to think of it really, and then we just get the unnecessary shit of Chalice flirting with all the other doctors and shit, and you just already hate his character. I mean, I did.
Yeah, he just kind of comes off like I guess a sleazy everyman, I guess.
Yeah.
One thing that happens too is Harry hears he's like knocked out, and he hears the Silver Shamrock jingle, and he starts like he wakes up, and he's like oh, they're gonna get me, they're gonna kill us or whatever. He starts freaking out, losing his goddamn mind, and then they move him to his room, and then what happens when they move him to his room?
The people who were chasing him, they find him.
Yes.
Because it wasn't hard to follow that truck to the hospital.
No.
But through the entire chase, these guys are like acting all weird, like not normal. Like they're walking all stiff and shit, and it's just something's off with them. But we don't figure that out till later in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the guy finds him and proceeds to. Did he start choking him first? No.
He
just
put his hand over.
Yeah, he just covered his mouth and then just plunges his fingers into his eye sockets, which was a great practical effect kill. I have to give the movie this. The kills were great. I really did appreciate them. And they were all practical, too. So he jams his fingers into the eye sockets and then just proceeds to rip the skull. And just looked kind of funny at first, but once it settled, the effect was good.
Yeah, he's like... and then like he walks out, and the nurse is just like, "What are you doing in here?" Because he's like wiping his blood on like the hospital like
the curtain,
the bed curtain, yeah. And then he just looks at her and just like moseys on out, and then she starts screaming, and Chalice wakes up, and he like goes to investigate, and he's like, "Oh fuck." And then that's what really kicks the movie off is that, and then we have like 3 very fast time skips.
Well, wait. We forgot what happens to the guy who killed him.
Oh, yeah. He self-immolates.
He just walks out to his car and dumps gas on himself and lights it up.
My man, he casually walks. So, like, that's the thing about this movie, too, is a lot of these guys, they're basically just, they act like Michael Myers, which kind of, like, threw me off a little bit. Because, like, the movie doesn't have Michael Myers, but all these guys walk like Michael Myers. They stalk like Michael Myers. There's plenty of camera angles that are very reminiscent of camera angles in Halloween 1 and 2. And I thought that was kind of interesting that even with the absence of him, they still had characters that kind of took his place. But yeah, he's self-immolates.
Mindless drones.
He sets himself on fire. Yeah, they're mindless drones, exactly. And he sets himself on fire, and the whole thing explodes. And then we get introduced to Ellie, his daughter, Harry's daughter, and she's like, "Yep, that's my dad. He's dead."
Oh no!
And then that's a real line from the movie.
No, it's not.
So then after that, we get introduced to Teddy and all that stuff with the coroner.
Charles is like, "You need to figure out what the hell this was."
Yeah, like he's like, hey, can you like do a toxicology report or something?
It's like, I've seen people on drugs. That
Yeah,
guy was in too much control to be on drugs.
because one of the cops was like, oh, it was probably fucking drugs. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if drugs would cause you to rip a man's like skull apart from the eye sockets and then set yourself on fire. That's just me though. I don't
Bath
know.
salts?
I'm not a doctor. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But after that, Ellie like doesn't confront, but like finds Daniel at a bar, and she's like, "Oh, my fucking dad's dead. What are we gonna do about it?" And then Daniel's like, "Oh, I'm drunk. I don't really
I
care."
don't get why she like immediately went to him.
Yeah, you'd think she would have gone to the cops, but I think it's because there's like that one scene where he kind of like, where he's like walking and he like stares at her while she's crying, and then she looks back at him, and then he's like,
It's like,
all
this
right.
guy's got it.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's about. Uh, and then what happens after that, Justin? What happens after that initial meeting?
Oh, they're just talking the bar for a bit, and he's like, something about this doesn't sit right with me, so I'm gonna help you investigate this shit. So Ellie takes him to the novelty store that her dad owned, and she's like, I've been doing my own detective work. See this logbook? It's all the shit my dad was doing up till this point.
Yeah, she was like checking alibis, basically, like checking his whereabouts and verifying that he was at these different places at different times, stuff like that.
And then there was one meeting he didn't show up for with some woman. I guess they had a dinner plan, but the date before that, he went to the Silver Shamrock Factory to pick up an order of masks.
And this Silver Shamrock Factory is like in this like, I guess, corporate town. I think is what Daniel calls it in the movie. He calls it a corporate town. It's like Santa Mira, California, or some shit. That's where I think it takes place in California. Yeah, because it says Northern California at the beginning of the movie.
California.
I forgot about that. Don't. All right, don't do that. But they go to Santa Mira, California, and it's this corporate town that fucking Cochran owns, and everybody's like talking about him. And they go to stay at this motel, right? I think that's what happens next. They stay at this motel, and the whole time Daniel's like talking to his ex-wife, and his ex-wife is just bitching at him about like, you said you were gonna pick up the kids. You're a piece of shit. This is why I divorced you. All that shit. And Daniel's just like, whatever. Fucking, I'm gonna go investigate this. Fuck you. And then he goes to this hotel with Ellie and with a delightfully Irish man running it. Delightfully Irish.
The only dude who has an Irish
He's
accent.
the only
in this
one.
movie.
Oh, but when they're driving into the town too, this is one of my favorite bits. Is when they're driving into the town and like everybody's just staring at him, like, and something just feels amiss because, and that's why he's like, oh, it's a corporate town, fucking whatever.
They don't like outsiders.
Yeah, they don't like outsiders. And then when they're in the hotel, we get something that me and Justin both have a problem with, and that's the forced romance subplot. But before that, we're introduced to the sitcom family that comes in an RV. I'm telling you, it's a fucking sitcom family. They come in an RV, and then Buddy's talking like fucking like a 50s sitcom dad. And he's like, oh, this is my wife, Betty, and this is little Buddy, ha ha ha. And then, like, little Buddy just gets on his bike and tells his mom to go fuck herself. And then we also get introduced to Marge was her name, right?
Yep.
Marge, played by Garn Stevens.
Garn
I forgot to
Stevens.
mention her when we were talking about the characters because she's not, like, a major character. She almost runs over, so the sitcom family almost runs over Danny. And then this bitch almost runs over Danny, too. And she, like, just doesn't even, like, say anything to him. She just, like, walks to the reception desk. And then Danny goes into the hotel room, and then we get the forced romance plot that we both have an issue with, because it's just dumb. Like,
these people like don't even know each other, and they're trying to investigate some murder, and then they're all like, Chalice is all like, "Oh, well, would you feel comfortable if I got a different room? I mean, really, I would rather sleep in the car. It's probably more comfortable than this floor." And then Ellie's just like, "Well, where do you want to sleep?"
and then he's just like, that's a dumb question.
And then they just start fucking making
And then
out.
they just start kissing. Yeah, and then it's so dumb. It feels like it's one of those things that the producer was like, well, Halloween 2 had titties and fucking, so we gotta have that in Halloween 3 in a story that does not need it in any shape or form. And it just feels like gross, I guess. It felt gross to me because this dude, Tom Atkins, is like significantly older than fucking Stacey Nelkin, and Stacey, and like to the point where like there's a scene later on in the movie where he asks her, "How old are you?" and she's like, "Don't worry, I'm older than I look," and I'm like, that doesn't help. That doesn't help me. This is still like bad. I don't like this. That's like the biggest negative for the movie for me.
Well, I guess that's the only break in pace, really.
Yeah.
That scene.
Yeah, because what I don't remember what happens after that. After that is when the curfew's announced, right?
Yeah, and Chalice goes out to buy some fucking liquor and finds this homeless dude who's just like talking shit about the Shamrock factory and Cochran and all that, saying this is gonna be their last Halloween. I'm gonna burn that factory to the ground. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's like saying he's gonna get a bunch of Molotov cocktails and burn it down.
He's like, oh no, be careful because they're always listening.
And boy, were they listening! Because then once Chalice gets back to his hotel room, we get to the second kill of the movie, which is one of my favorites. I don't know if it's my favorite. I guess we'll talk about favorites later when we actually like talk about the kills. But he gets killed. He gets his head popped because he gets cornered by these two robots. Basically,
We haven't talked about that yet.
well, he gets killed by these two guys in suits. One of them surprises him with a flashlight, and then the other guy just comes up and like just fucking rips his head off.
Rips his head off. Like the whole time, if you haven't watched it before, you're just sitting there wondering how the fuck are they doing this? Like,
Yeah,
are they superhuman motherfuckers or what?
yeah, because it's not explained until later. But then what happens after that, Justin? After
that, isn't that when they go to the factory to ask about what Ellie's dad was doing and then all that?
Yeah, to ask about an order he made. Yeah, because he never brought the order back.
Yeah.
Right, that's what it was. And then no. That's I think Marge happens after that, where Marge has the little silver shamrock thing.
Oh yeah.
So they're selling these masks, right? And on the back of these masks is this little like I guess
Trademark
token.
stamp.
Yeah, like a trademark stamp type token thing. And it's got like a little circuit board on the back of it. And I don't remember.
Her kid had been throwing the mask against the
Yeah,
wall
that's
and
what
it
it
popped
was.
off, and that's why she was there to go get a replacement or place an order or something. She owns a store too, but
Yeah.
who fucking cares?
Yeah, who cares? She's fodder. Cause then she's messing with the circuit board, and like this blue laser shoots out of it, and like blows her fucking like face off. Like it's such a gross looking effect. Like her lips are like curled back, and like fucking like all cracked and shit, and her eyes are bloodshot, and her teeth are like all fucked up. It's such a good practical effect. And then like this fucking like bug insect like crawls out of her mouth.
Yep.
And it's gross. I love it. So anyway, then Connell Cochran himself comes down after like this, I guess, van just picks up fucking Marge and takes her away, and Connell is just here, and he's like, oh, she's gonna get the best medical care, and then like immediately out of earshot, he's just like, what happened? And then like they're like, oh, it was a misfire, sir, and then he's like, all right, and then he just goes away.
Yeah, I don't like that whole statement right there was just really stupid. She's gonna get medical care at a mask factory.
Yeah, to one of the best facilities in the country, and then that's when they go to the fucking factory after that. And what happens at the factory?
Well, I guess the reason Buddy's family is there is because he sold the most masks or whatever, the stupid Shamrock mask. So Cochran's gonna give him a tour of the factory and whatnot.
A special tour, yeah.
Well, there's another reason that they're having him there, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
Oh, they go on the tour. Well, first he's like, oh, well, can't my new friends come for whatever fucking reason?
These people that he just met, like, and it's Chalice and Ellie.
So they get to go on the tour.
So they get to go on this tour where they're just like making masks and shit.
They pretend to be the best Solid Snake they can be, sneaking
Yeah.
around and shit.
Yeah, because Chalice is like looking around, and they keep asking about what final processing means because little Buddy wants a mask, and Connell's like, oh hey, you don't want that mask. That mask hasn't been through final processing yet. Here, have one of these brand new ones. And then he gives him a new one, and he's like, there you go. And there's this really cool, there's a shot I like where there's one thing this movie's got. I got to give it up to Tommy Lee Wallace and Dean Cutney is the cinematography in this movie, because Dean Cutney was a cinematographer, because there are some really cool fucking shots in this movie. And so like the shot that I'm thinking of now is when he's gonna give the pumpkin mask to little Buddy, and like it's a shot of like little Buddy's like looking up at Connell as he's like putting the mask on, and it like the camera like comes up and stops on the little silver shamrock stamp, and I think that's a really neat shot. I liked that a lot. And he's like assuring him that like, there you go, that looks great on you, or whatever the fuck he says. I don't remember, but during that tour, you know, they ask about final processing, and he's like, well, I'm not gonna tell you because it's a trade secret. Ha ha he he. And then at this point, Chalice like notices a bunch of weird suit boys watching him, and he's like, hey, Ellie, it's time to go. So then they're leaving, and then Ellie sees her dad's car, and she's like, oh, it's Papa's car. And then she like tries to go to it, and all these fucking suits just like get in her way, and they go back to the hotel room. And then what happens when they're back in the hotel room, Justin?
They get ready to leave, and then Chalice goes to call somebody on the phone to like, he goes to call Teddy or whatever, ask about her findings on the medical shit, and she's just all confused because she's like, there's no evidence showing that there was a body in this car. Like,
yeah, she's like,
everything's
it's just car parts.
Car parts and ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense.
No.
And then the camera kind of pans down under the counter, and you see like there's some listening or recording device. So they've been hearing all of Chalice's phone calls and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he goes back to the hotel room, and Ellie's been taken. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, and Chalice like looks outside his door, and there's just like a row of 5 men just like staring him down. And then he goes into the bathroom. They break through the door. He gets out through the back window, and I think he goes to the factory. Right? Yeah, he runs to the factory. No, he tries to hide from them, and he gets in a phone booth and tries to, I guess, call the cops or something. Yeah. And it keeps telling him that, hey, your call can't be completed. So then he goes to the factory. Or did he get kidnapped? I don't remember. He makes it there on his own, right?
Yeah, he makes it there.
And then that's when he gets he gets
on the phone again in the factory like a dumbass.
Yeah.
And they find him. So he starts fighting one of the suited dudes, and he's just getting his ass handed to him. Like, nothing he does is working against this guy.
And he's punching him, and he's just like taking the hits. And I think that particular suit is Dick Warlock, if I remember right, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2.
Dick Warlock?
If I remember right, I think that is Dick Warlock.
Maybe. But anyways, this is where we get the big reveal of the suit people and why they're so fucking weird and strong. Chalice gets the upper hand and starts punching him in the gut, and then the dude just spews out this orange crap from his mouth.
Yeah, he starts gurgling orange juice, yeah.
And Chalice looks down, and his hand is through the dude's stomach, and he's like, what the fuck? So he pulls his hand out, and out come a bunch of wires and shit. So, like, these people have been some weird, like, synthetic android human things or whatnot. I don't know. It's never fully explained how they were made. Ugh.
Yeah, they remind me a lot of the synthetic humans from the Alien franchise, except instead of being filled with a bunch of white shit, they're filled with a bunch of orange shit. That's really the only difference as far as I could tell, because they're both the same in terms of like how they carry themselves and stuff. The working Joes, you know. But yeah, after that, Connell comes up and he's like, "Oh, fucking, it's you, Mr. Whatever." And then he's like, "I'm gonna kidnap you." So then he kidnaps him, and he takes him, and he shows him a test room that he puts the sitcom family in, right? And he's like, "Hey, yeah, they're gonna fucking, you gotta see, I gotta give you a demonstration of what's coming, baby."
No, wait. First, Cochran explains the whole thing.
Yes.
Because at the beginning of the movie, there was this news broadcast about how a piece of Stonehenge was stolen or whatnot.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who did it. And so he's like telling all this shit like, oh, it has mystical power or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they're somehow infusing that with the masks, and he's trying to explain it. He's like, you know what? You just need a demonstration. Yeah, so then we cut to the test room,
with the
and we see
family,
Buddy's family and whatnot, and they're just like, oh, this is all weird. Why does he want my opinion on a commercial? And the new commercial starts playing with that stupid, annoying jingle. I fucking hate it.
This jingle's so annoying. I hate
And,
it so much too.
It specifies, oh, make sure you're wearing your masks, kids, and pay close attention to the magic pumpkin, blah, blah, blah.
The magic pumpkin.
So then this whole weird sound starts playing and shit, and then little buddy starts grabbing his head like it hurts or something, and he just collapses over, and all these snakes and bugs start coming out of his mouth. Really gross. I don't understand that either. Why snakes and bugs come out of them when they die from this? Well, whatever. This movie doesn't make sense.
It's probably some like satanic shit or something because of something that Cochran explains later on, kind of, but not really.
Not kind of, not. But then little buddy's mom just, I guess, dies of shock because
Yeah.
nothing really happened to her.
I mean, it's safe to assume that like the snakes just start biting her or some shit. I don't know. But then, Big Buddy gets bitten by a snake. And
By a
dies.
rattlesnake.
Specifically a rattlesnake, and he fucking like
Go
just collapses
Texas.
and dies. Yeah, he dies hard. And then like fucking Chalice is just like making these faces like, oh my god, oh, it's awful.
It was, it was the worst thing I ever watched, like this movie.
Yeah. And then fucking after that, Chalice is taken to this room with a TV screen that's playing Halloween, the first Halloween, which is kind of a weird, probably like in joke by John Carpenter, and this is where like he's explaining like the whole backstory. He tells him at some point he had already told him that Ellie was like being taken care of or whatever, and then he's trapped in this room watching Halloween, and he's explaining to him everything that's going to happen, and he's like, why, you got to have a reason, right? And then Cochran's like, do I have to have a reason? And he's like, maybe I'm just fucking crazy. No, and then he like starts explaining how like it's like a sacrifice, a witchcraft sacrifice to Samhain, or Samhain, however the fuck you say it. It's spelled Samhain. And then he puts a skull mask on him, and then he leaves the room, and he tells him Happy Halloween, and then he leaves the room, and I guess he's just gonna leave him there until like, what was it, 9:00 when
the giveaway happens.
When the giveaway happens, the big prank that one of Cochran's famous pranks that he's known for, as Buddy explains early on. But as we know, Justin, he's able to escape, isn't he?
Yep. Because, like idiots, they didn't tie his feet, so he just kicks out the TV and gets a piece of glass and cuts his straps and whatnot. And then crawls through a vent. I don't know how he unscrewed the vent, but he did.
Yeah, I don't know how he did. I'm assuming he used like a piece of glass and like put it on the strap and turned it because
Motherfucker's hand would have been bloody as hell.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how it didn't make sense, but this movie doesn't make sense. It's fine.
But so yeah, Chalice escapes. He goes to find Ellie, I guess, and finds her. And I didn't notice at first, but she didn't say a single word the entire time after he found her.
Yeah, he like sets her free, and the whole time like Cochran and his men are watching, and his synths are watching, and
They just didn't care at this point.
yeah, they were just like, I'll let him do whatever he wants.
The movie's almost over. Let's just get this
Yeah, the
done.
movie's almost over. Just let him do whatever he wants. So then he tries to like escape with her, and like he steals like a box full of those little tokens, right?
Yeah.
And then like he solid snakes his way to this console and starts like the little like stupid jingle broadcast, but only in the monitors in that little control room area. And then he like gets to a higher vantage point and drops all these tokens and basically kills everybody. Yeah. But then this somehow like makes the Stonehenge rock like react.
I guess because the TVs were set up in a way to like mimic a pentagram.
Yeah.
There was 5 of them. And then there was 5 bodies in the circle.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of stupid.
But then you get like this blue laser
zaps Cochran.
Zaps Cochran. He like turns into stone, and then he just explodes.
No, he just disappeared.
Oh, he disappeared. No, because then the thing explodes.
Yeah,
right?
then the rock explodes.
Then the rock explodes. Yeah, and it's real weird. It's real weird. And so then Chalice and Ellie are like escaping. And Chalice is like, there's got to be some way to stop the broadcast. There's got to
be someone we can call.
There's got to be somebody we can call, yeah. And then Ellie just like tries to kill him because she's become a synthetic person. Oh no! Oh, that's awful. Poor her.
Yeah.
What a girl boss. Hashtag, you know? And then he like crashes into a tree and like her arm gets ripped off or some shit. And then there's like three different instances where you think she's dead, and then like some shit happens where she like almost kills him again. First it's like her missing her arm,
Her
and
arm comes to life and chokes him.
and then his arm comes to life and chokes him after he decapitates her, mind you. And then like her body tries to grab him one last time, but then it like that's when she like I guess quote unquote officially dies. And then he goes to he just starts running because the car doesn't work anymore, I guess. And he just starts running, and he comes across that mechanic shop at the beginning, sees the same mechanic, and the mechanic's like, "Hey, do I know you?" And then he gets inside and he calls this fucking like I guess this broadcast station, and he tells them, "This is my favorite part of the movie. The best part of the movie is the ending, ironically."
Yeah, because it's over.
Because it's over, exactly. But he's on the phone, and you know these this like car just full of kids. I didn't see an adult in the car, but this car like full of kids just comes out, and they're all wearing silver shamrock masks, and they all like go to you're gonna hear a dog barking probably. Forgive me, but they go to fuck with the TV because it's time for the giveaway. And he's like on the phone. And he's like, just say it's a bomb. Just say it's a terrorist threat. Do anything. Just stop it. And then like the first channel, we're having technical difficulties. It stopped. Second channel, we're having technical difficulties. It stopped. Third channel is playing normally. The magic pumpkin's on screen. The kid's watching it. And he's just yelling, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And then he looks directly at the camera and says, stop it. And then the movie ends. And then the movie ends. And that's a good scene. That's a good scene. That's about the gist of it, huh?
Yeah,
That's
pretty
a real-
much.
That's a real quick kind of synopsis. I know we missed some stuff probably, but it doesn't matter. We're not trying to retell the whole thing. More importantly, now we can talk about the kills and which ones are our favorites and stuff. So we got homeboy getting his skull separated. We got dude getting his head ripped off. We got Marge getting her face blown off.
Laser.
Teddy gets killed with a drill. Because she gets too close to the truth at some point. I don't remember what part of the movie it was exactly, but she like gets too close to the truth, and you don't see the kill, which is a little disappointing. Because that would have probably been a really neat practical effect. But from what it looks like, the drill goes into her ear, so that's gotta suck.
Yeah.
And then I guess you got Little Buddy, you got Cochran, and then you got Ellie. Those are the kills.
And the nameless minions getting electrocuted.
Oh yeah, the nameless synths getting electrocuted. Yeah. So what did you think of the kills overall, Justin?
Well, all the practical kills that were shown, they were really good. I mean, the movie had to have some kind of selling point.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a favorite, it's really between the eye sockets and the head getting ripped off, just because the effects were so good.
Yeah, the effects were like really good in this movie, like a lot better than Halloween 2, surprisingly, and it was only a year after. So that's pretty cool.
Like, I can give the movie that. Like I said, it did well with the kills, and that's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, the kills were some of the best parts of it for sure. I really liked the head getting ripped off and also the face getting blown off. That was pretty neat too, because it looked so gross. Oh God. But yeah, overall thoughts on the movie, or I guess now it's the part where we kind of just like talk about, I guess, our feelings on it in general. Not really the conclusive feelings, but just our feelings on it in general. So for me, I mean, it's weird that it's a Halloween movie. That's for sure, because this feels more like a Twilight Zone episode. I mean, down to the fact that like it has a twist ending that isn't exactly like happy, and all the characters feel like very Twilight Zone type characters. But you know, it's just a Twilight Zone episode with a bigger budget, and it's gory, and it's got the Halloween name for some reason. But I think it's fine. I think it's okay. It's not like amazing. It's not gonna blow you away or anything. It's definitely doesn't hold a candle to the first Halloween, or any of the Halloween movies for that matter. But I mean, it's, you know, it's fun. It's well, it's not fun, but it's like, you know, it's a good it's a good like separate thing, and I think it probably would have been received better if it didn't have the Halloween title, and that's been said before, but like it's true. So but yeah, I mean, I liked it. I think it was good. The acting was hammy at points. There were some pretty bad line reads at certain times. One thing I will say is the music. I loved the music. John Carpenter did the music with I can't remember who did the music with him. Hold on, I can find it though. It was
Somebody.
Where is it? Alan Howarth.
Howarth.
They made a badass synthy soundtrack. I really like the music to this one, and the cinematography. I already mentioned Dean Cutney and Tommy Lee Wallace did some, or Dean Cundy and Tommy Lee Wallace did some great shots in this movie. There's a lot of shots that are really good. There's a lot of good moments, but like as a whole, I don't think it works. Like it kind of suffers as a whole, but there are really good moments that I really liked about it. All the shots of like the suits, like watching people, the ending, the shot of Cochran putting the mask on little Buddy, like all that shit was cool. Loved that. The music was great. It was, I really like the music. That's probably my favorite part of the movie. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's just okay. I enjoyed it more than Halloween 2. I'll say that.
Nah, bullshit.
I enjoyed it more than Halloween 2. I'll say that because Halloween 2 is just kind of and this is
kind of eh.
Well, yeah, but like, there's more I enjoy about this than Halloween 2, which I did not expect. That's not an opinion I expected to have, but it's an opinion that I have. I know I just said that like it doesn't hold a candle to any Halloween movie, but that's only if you compare it to the Halloween movies as a whole, I guess. I don't know. I was just talking out of my ass. You know me, I do that. But anyway, so what did you think overall, Justin? What were your favorite parts of it, if you had any? What were your least favorite parts, if you had any? I know a common least favorite part is the forced relationship shit, but outside of that,
the kills are what really did it for me. I mean, the beginning to like nearly the end, there was a good build up until it just kind of felt like they were like, you know what, fuck this, just do whatever.
Yeah.
The ending kind of just felt like no one gave a shit and nothing was going to get explained.
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
And
yeah.
It just kind of pissed me off because the build up was kind of good, but
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's fine. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, but like you said, take Halloween out of the title, it'd be a more tolerable movie for me.
Or if it had just been a Twilight Zone episode, which is what I think it was it feels like that's what it was supposed to be. Like, it just felt like it was supposed to be a fucking episode of Twilight Zone. I think like, I know one of the things I talked about with the first Halloween was how much I like how nothing's explained about Michael, right? That he's just this fucking, like, psycho, and there's no backstory to him really outside of the fact that he killed his sister.
Because you can get that.
Yeah. But with this, I think it's a detriment because they set up a lot and then they just don't explain it. And I think that's like the fault there. Because what makes Michael scary is that you don't know a lot about him and you don't know his motivations. But there's nothing really, I guess, quote unquote, scary about this one. It's just kind of weird.
Even Cochran himself passes it off as a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm just doing this for a laugh.
Oh, I'm just a prankster, just like Buddy said, which is kind of dumb. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I like villains that are just fucking kooky, but like, I don't know. it just felt out of place, I guess. Like, he's just killing all these fucking kids as a joke. What a monster. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess a better motivation for a character like that would have worked better for me. But yeah, I mean, it's just okay. Like,
it's okay.
It's just okay.
I'd rather watch any of the other Halloween movies.
I mean, yeah,
including Resurrection.
Well, I don't know about that.
And Rob Zombie.
No, I don't know about all that. I don't think. Nope. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that you said that. I'm not gonna let you get away with that.
Well, it's said.
I'm not gonna let you get away with that. You cannot get away with that. But yeah, I think that might be all we have to say about this.
I mean, yeah, really, this is kind of a scattered take, but the movie's a scattered fucking thing, and it's like.
Yeah,
there's not really much to talk about with it. It's just kind of there.
That is one thing I will say is it did kind of feel like it was going all over the place. And then yeah, like it's like Justin said, you know, it had a good build up, but it was a very scattered build up with like not really any payoff. And I mean that's fine because I like the ending at least, but I would have liked to know a little bit more about like I guess why all this shit was so weird. I don't know. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to talk about this movie because like part of me appreciates stuff like that in other movies where stuff's not over explained, but then the way this movie sets up its conflict, it feels like it has to be explained and it isn't. And I think that's where I'm getting like this mismatch where I can't really like come to terms with it, you know what I mean? But I mean overall, I mean it's got some cool moments.
Yeah.
Like that ending is I'm gonna keep talking about that ending because it's really good. I really like Tom Atkins really fucking sells it. Like he just fucking just goes and goes and goes. And that's one thing I've noticed about a lot of Carpenter movies is that the endings are always very I guess what's the word? They're very they're not happy is the simple way to put it.
Open to interpretation.
They're always the Thing has an open to interpretation ending. Halloween, Halloween 2 doesn't, but you know, this one was produced by Carpenter, and this one has an open to interpretation ending. The Fog has a really good ending too. John Carpenter's got some iconic endings, is my point. Prince of Darkness has a cool ass ending. They Live has a cool ass ending. You know, I love Carpenter. He's one of my favorite directors. So you know, I'm gonna talk about him a bunch. But yeah, I think that's all we got for Halloween 3. Is there anything else you got? Any final words? Any final thoughts, Justin?
If you're gonna watch it, don't expect much. I mean, you might have a different opinion, but I think best just to exclude Halloween from the name.
Yeah,
when you watch it.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you do watch this movie, if you haven't already seen it, if you decide to watch it, first of all, sorry for all the spoilers, but if you do decide to watch it, I think it's best if you just pretend it's not a fucking Halloween movie, because I think that'll set your expectations a lot higher than they should be for a movie like this.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I saw it, I was like 11 or 12, and I saw the title Halloween, and the entire time I was waiting for Michael to show up, and I was just disappointed.
Yeah, and I feel like that was that's how a lot of moviegoers felt in 1982. But yeah, I mean, it's just a weird little movie. It's just a weird little movie about a weird little guy that tries to fuck everybody in a hospital at some point or another. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch it again, or I don't know how often I'm gonna watch it. But
It's just a background movie.
yeah. Well, I think that's all we got for this one. Next time is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Released on the 10th anniversary of Halloween. This is Justin's favorite because he's Justin.
I love 4 and 5.
He really likes 4 and 5. I don't get it, but I guess we'll see, because this will be the first time I'm sitting down and watching them and not on TV, because the only time I've seen these movies are on TV. And all I remember is Michael's stupid fucking mask in 5. I hate it. Oh my god, he looks like a fucking alien. Oh, jeez. Okay, well we'll talk about that when we get to it. But Halloween 4 is next week, and I think that's all we got for this time. But you know, if you need gas, eat beans, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, you know, just thanks for listening. If you listened, if you didn't listen, then I mean, I don't really care. We're just doing this for fun. But yeah, so you know,
I'm gonna go ahead and stop it, unlike that stupid TV show. I mean, what the fuck was it? Damn it, I fucked up my outro.
the commercial. The commercial.
Unlike the commercial, yeah, we're gonna stop.
See, there we go. All right, bye-bye. Say bye, Justin.
Bye.